to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Cory Wolf.
And I'm Kristin James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Well, meet Amber Bess, a proud Omaha, Nebraska native whose real estate journey started with investment properties alongside her husband and quickly grew into a full-blown passion. Amber brings clear communication, dedication, and heart to every client she serves. Whether helping a first-time buyer or a savvy investor, she's known for making the process smooth, stress-free, and fun. When she's not helping people find their dream homes, you'll find her outdoors with her husband and two energetic boys soaking up the best of Nebraska life. Welcome to the podcast, Amber.
Hi, how are you guys?
So good. We are so excited to have you, Amber, especially you having two boys. I have two boys. I cannot wait to glean some information from you. So,
Oh, yes.
anyway, just tell us your real estate story in your own words. We'd love to hear it.
Okay, so me and my husband started investing in real estate first. I would say my uncle, he has investment properties and he was kind of talking to us about it. My husband's pretty handy. So he's like, you're handy. Why don't you guys start investing in real estate? And we're like, okay, once we have our mortgage paid off. Well, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that book completely changed my life about more like leveraging your money. And so that's what we did. We started investing in real estate. And then we had our first flip property, which was an absolute nightmare. But it's kind of like one of those failing forward things that you learn all the things. And we had an agent, and I don't know, he just I was just like, I think I'm going to get my license. So he kind of inspired me, got my license. So it was 2022. And then I was like, oh, it's just going to be for investment properties, just for me and my husband. One thing leads to another, it kind of starts to snowball. And I was at one brokerage and then went over to Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm selling houses and still doing the investment stuff. So it's fun.
That is awesome. When did you get your license? How long have you been doing real estate?
It was like the end of 2022.
Awesome. And do you do it full time?
Pretty much. So my background's in ultrasounds. So I did ultrasounds. Yeah, healthcare, like totally opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'll still help out and do that, but it is pretty much full time. I'm just really busy. So I'll help out with that. But yeah, so did that. I was always part-time anyway, but did that for 16 years. So
wow, that's awesome. Well, tell us, before we dive into like the meat and bones of our conversation, tell us a little bit about your family. Like, what does summer look like for you as we kind of launch into, school's out? What does that look like for your world?
So I have a husband. I have two boys, 5 and 7. One just finished up preschool. The other one finished up first grade. And they just go to daycare like part-time. So they go on Mondays and Wednesdays. And this week we just said, we're going to take a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because it's just too much. And they have fun at daycare. There's a lot of activities. And so we're like, yep, we got to get them there. But then we have them Thursdays and Fridays. So that can be a little bit of a challenge with real estate. Like I've had to take my kids with me for showings or to meet people, and they do great. But they're always like, no, I don't want to go look at another house, because we'll go look at houses, walk houses for investment properties. Like, I don't want to go look at another house, because we're trying to get them excited about it, but we're not there yet.
Well, keep trying, Mama. Oh, that's great. Well, I'd love to kind of piggyback on a couple of things that you mentioned in the beginning of our conversation. One is the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book and how it like shifted your perspective about finances and wealth management, even investing. Talk to a younger generation of like this whole house hacking concept. I think we're both familiar with it, but talk to us about like creative ways that you are helping like younger generations invest in real estate.
Yes. I think house hacking, if I could go back in time, house hacking would be something that I would have done. But you're always like, so that's what my passion is, teaching the younger generations. Like, I didn't do this, but you should totally do this because you start young. I mean, I've met 21-year-olds that have storage units. They're investing in commercial real estate. So it's very impressive. So yeah, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think everybody should read that. I have an assistant, so I'm actually having her read it right now. She wanted me to watch Selling the OC, and I don't like reality shows, but I did it. I pushed through, and I'm like, if I do this, then you have to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And because she's younger, she's 19. Oh, and wants to be a real estate agent. House hacking is when you buy a house, so you can be a first-time home buyer. Sometimes they have grants out there. In Nebraska, we have a program called NIFA. So it's almost like a second loan, but a really low interest rate to help with down payment assistance. What house hacking is you buy your first house and, maybe a fixer-upper, or maybe not a fixer-upper, but just some cosmetic stuff that it just needs updated. You live there for, 2 years, fix it up. Now you can either sell it and use the profits to kind of move up to a better house, or the better idea would be to keep it, rent it out, and borrow from the equity of the house. So it's called a HELOC. It's just a line of credit to buy your second property. And then you just kind of like build off that. So there's also some creative financing ways. It's called seller financing. So say you wanted to buy a property and the seller owned it outright. The seller can act as the bank, and you can kind of make a deal with them on, payments or what you feel comfortable with for your payments. And there's also called a subject to, where you can take over someone's mortgage and, it saves you on the closing costs. And I've done that before with people that are in bad situations. So there's just so many different ways that people can afford housing, as long as you're, because credit score is a huge thing. That's why like the seller financing, or like a lot of people do rent to own, people that have lower credit scores, that would be kind of the way to go. So really there's no reason why most people couldn't be homeowners.
That's so good. And I love the out of the box thinking. I think that's so important, especially in today's crazy market.
Yes.
Okay, so I kind of have a two-part question for you. So first of all, like, do you know numbers wise how many homes are currently in your portfolio, or how many homes you've flipped, all that kind of thing? And then the other part of it is like, can you talk us through some of your nightmares and how you worked through those?
For sure. So we have 6 rental properties, and I don't really necessarily like to flip houses. It's not my favorite thing. It's a little stressful, but you have to do it sometimes to get some more capital. I just always say, like, to feed the machine and keep investing in real estate. So you could flip a house, make a little profit, and then help that be like a down payment on an investment property that you're going to keep.
Beautiful.
So, and I think we flipped like 4 houses. And the first one was in 2022 before I had my license. And it was like I would call it medium to heavy rehab. So, I mean, we completely gutted the kitchen. It was in a really nice area here in Omaha. Houses sell very quickly. But it was a nightmare. There were termites. So I learned everything about termites. They had been treated, but still, my husband was like, he did a bunch of the work on the house. Then we had a couple other people helping out. He was downstairs and he's like pushing on the wall. He's like, the wall is like squishy. And so he starts like tearing down the wall, and there's like termites going everywhere. I didn't see it, thank the Lord. But and then none of this was like our fault. There was a brick there was a storm. A brick got stuck in the sewer system, the main sewer drain pipe, or main sewer pipe, and sewage backed up into the basement right after we had gotten it drywalled. Thank the Lord we didn't have any carpet. And yes, completely flooded the basement. So my husband's over there. He's like, I don't even know what to do, like trying to clean it up. But so we called a company, and it was on the city. The city had to pay for it. Thank the Lord. Like it was on them. And then, oh geez. We say the house is cursed because this little, like, they were painting the house and they found this like little doll head in the gutter, and they put it on our front step. The painters did. And we're like, oh gosh, what is this? And I think my husband, it like freaked my husband out. He like threw it down the street or something like that. And then it came back in our yard when he was mowing the yard. He's like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? And then we just had contractors, like painters, that they didn't tape right. The painting looked terrible on the outside, on the inside. So we had problems with some contractors. But again, it was our first one, so we didn't really know who we could trust, who we couldn't. And it all ended up good. We made a good profit. but it was very stressful. And to be our first one and there was just so much rehab done. Redid the bathrooms, just completely tore them out, took a wall out and made a walk-in closet in one of the bedrooms. But we saw the potential there. I mean, some people can walk these old houses and they can't see it, but we could see it. And it was a great neighborhood. It's all about location, right? Location.
Do you always plan for like 30% extra in the rehab? Like tell me what that number is, because I don't know why 30% has stuck in my head. So I'm curious.
Well, another part to this is I had the agent walk it and we bought it sight unseen because he walked it with an investor. So I trusted they knew what they were doing. Nobody could have known all the things.
Right.
When you buy these houses, there's always surprises, right? So we thought 50 grand and it ended up being 86,000. So yeah. So what I do for for my clients, what I'll do for a light rehab, maybe 25 a square foot, and then just a quick and dirty, like rough estimate, for like medium rehab, $30 a square foot up to like $35 a square foot, times it by the square foot. That's just a rough estimate. And then once, the inspector comes in, if you get an inspection, then you'll know more. And then I just always look at the big ticket items, the roof, the HVAC, the siding, those big ones.
And now do you want to do sewer scopes for every inspection?
I do. Well, I tell all my clients if it's an older house, what do they say, like 20 years and older, which I don't know. I'm not sure about that really, because that'd be like early 2000s. I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, those older houses, absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're clay and they're like galvanized pipe or clay. So the tree roots will just come right in there. And even if it's been like jetted out, they'll just like jet all the tree roots out. I mean, they're going to come back eventually.
Right.
It's I just had a client that it didn't back up, but it was pretty bad when they did the sewer scope and for my buyers, and the sellers actually paid and did the right thing and got it all replaced. Because it's expensive. Wow. I think it was actually only $6,000. That's actually pretty cheap because
sounds it.
Yeah. I've been told like at least 10. So
yeah. So Amber, walk us through like just in general, like kind of higher level, like how do you actually assess if a property is going to be a worthwhile investment? I mean, there's only so much you want to or can do, up front before you kind of make that initial commitment. So what's some of the criteria that you use to, assess, is this worth moving forward and pursuing?
Yes. So I definitely bring my husband with. I call him my little inspector. He's in the process of getting his license. So then he can kind of walk properties and do showings because he's just attention to detail and he's just very handy. So he'll come with me and we'll just kind of like mark down what needs, again, the big ticket items. And we kind of have a rough estimate on that. He has a good estimate on like flooring and carpet and all that stuff. And because we've used these same carpet people, we kind of know what we're paying. When we do flips, we'll kind of do the same thing because people like right now, our big thing, I don't know what you guys are, but it's like white cabinets. It's white on white, which I usually mix it up and do like gray on white, but everybody wants that, just like make it very uniform. You don't want to do anything too crazy. In the beginning, I was like, oh, let's throw some gold in there, which now gold is good. People like the gold, but you can't do anything too crazy. And then, so I basically take the numbers. He kind of gives me a rough estimate on rehab. And again, I'll do that like light, medium, heavy rehab. We really like the houses that are like cosmetic. So like good bones just need to be updated a little bit. So then I'll take that and I put it in a calculator and calculate, down to the taxes, our holding costs, utilities, all the things that you don't think of. And when investors sell properties, sometimes the agents aren't familiar with investment properties and they don't know that there's so much that goes into flipping a house. It's not like you can buy a house for $100,000, turn around and sell it for $200,000. No, with that $100,000, you have to take into account, most people have holding costs. Most people aren't have $100,000 in cash. They're leveraging their money. So they're paying interest, like we do interest only loans. So yeah, there's a lot to take into. And then, the taxes prorated. And then if you're going to keep the house, the location and the taxes, and then you got to run your comps just to see what it could sell for. So it's all just like a big calculation I put into a calculator and it just gives me a number on the maximum price that I can offer on that house.
Oh, that's great. So with your real estate business, I mean, you're doing your own thing. I heard you say in the beginning of our conversation you have clients too. Do you find like most of your clients are investors, or are they sphere of influence?
Sphere of influence, and then a couple of investors. Right now it's really busy, and we just got done with the property, so we're just kind of taking a break from that. But it is kind of a balance between investment and then helping others attain investment properties, first-time home buyers or people just like divorces, and helping people find housing. So right now I'm just taking a little bit of time off. I mean, we're always looking, right? We're always looking, but taking a little bit of time off, I'm kind of looking at all my investments and like refinancing them to pull the money out. Because my favorite thing to do is called the BRRRR strategy. So that's where you buy a house, you rehab it, and then you rent it out, and then you refinance and pull the money out of it. So basically, like say it was 100, this easy numbers. So it's $100,000 house, but you fix it up, it's worth 200,000 now. And so they assessed it for like 200,000. Usually, depending on the loan, you can take 75 to 80% of the 200,000, and you can pull that money out, do like a cash out refinance, it's called. And that's my favorite thing to do. It's hard right now because the interest rates are high, but even if you got to leave a little bit of money into it, it's well worth it.
You touched on this a little bit, Amber, in terms of like different, or should we say creative financing options for the wannabe investor, like somebody who is just getting started in the investing game. Like, how do you do it with little money?
So
how do you get started?
You got private money investors. I mean, I'm going to say friends and family. I don't know how everyone feels about that. Sometimes it's kind of, that can be touchy, but finding investors that will invest with you, and it's all borrowed money. It's all somebody else's money. So, I mean, you'd have to do all your due diligence and get educated and build that trust with somebody. So you would be funded. You would be the project manager behind it, getting all the contractors and everything lined up, or hire a contractor who does all that, and then sell it and talk about, you'd give them a good interest rate. I mean, a better interest rate than they could get in the stock market right now. So that's what entices, these private money people to do it. Or there's what's called hard money. So it's a little more risky, but a lot of people use it to get started. I've borrowed a little bit of hard money, but the interest rate on that is like 22%. Like interest 22%. So you just want to get a house and just get it paid. Just go quick. Just hit the ground running. I think the hardest part is people have, and we did also, analysis paralysis, it's called, like where you just gotta jump into it and take the risk and get out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'll never do it. You could sit and research all day long, but you just have to go to like investment meetings, investment conferences, talk to as many investors that you can, find a mentor. We have what's called here the RIA. I think they're nationwide, REIA, and they've been a great resource for me. Bigger Pockets, anything Bigger Pockets is good. And then Pace Morby does all the creative financing for people who don't have any capital to invest. But if anybody even has I have a self-directed Roth IRA, or it was a pension from one of my jobs when I left. So I put that in a self-directed IRA, and I have that invested in what's called a syndication. So you're completely hands off with that, but you're invested with other investors mine is in Branson, Missouri. Basically, I have a friend investor that takes hotels and turns them into apartments. So I'm completely hands off for that.
So you are such a wealth of knowledge. You it sounds like you love to help other realtors, but how do you get this information across? Because I feel like, your knowledge is needed.
It's hard. You mean like when I talk to other agents, I had one last week that was trying to sell a house, and I did kind of have to educate her on that. Like there's holding costs and there's all this stuff, and here's the number that makes sense for this property. And I think we were it was for another investor. We were $2,000 off. $2,000 off. I mean, it needed work. I went downstairs and there was a toilet and there was a cookie on the back of the toilet. I don't know how old it was. I'd never seen that before.
But leave this cookie right here.
Oh gosh, so funny. I just kind of explained to her. So we were $2,000 off, and we couldn't do it, couldn't make it work. So I don't know. And I was explaining to her, and I think she understood it was just priced really high. But I mean, also, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, so I'm not really trying to tell the agents. I just tell them, here's a number that makes sense to us. And then, I'm willing to show you my numbers so you can just see where I'm getting these numbers from.
I love that. But I guess I was more asking, I mean, that's great information for our listeners, but more so like you do you have any type of like coaching or anything like that you do for others?
Not really per se. I just like say I have a first time home buyer, I will sit them down and just kind of see like if the husband's handy too, I'll just be like, here's a route that we could go. And I kind of teach them pretty much it doesn't have to be a first time home buyer, but they're usually younger and I talk about the house hacking. But even pretty much all my clients, I'll be like, here's what you can do. Some people don't want to do that. They can't wrap their head around it. We all have the way that I was not grown up to leverage my money. I was like, save, save, save. So it's really hard for people to wrap their head around it, me included when I first got into this. But I try to tell as many people as I can. I do a lot of social media with it. Like my YouTube channel, I show the flips that we do and the investment properties, and it's not like what is it? The HGTV. It's really not like that. Like there's always surprises, but yeah, I mean, I don't have any coaching yet, I guess. I haven't really taken any coaching per se, but just a lot of mentors, a lot of financial conferences, and I read and podcast. Like, so if you can't afford to go to a financial conference, you can get so much information from reading or listening on Audible and podcasts.
That's awesome, Amber. I think what Cory is saying is like you have like this wealth of knowledge about investing and like tips and tricks that like you could like package that and sort of find ways to like scale your like coaching and like mentoring if that was something that's of interest to you. It feels like there could be an opportunity for you.
It is my passion. And you're right. I could probably put even like a PowerPoint or a handout to make it simpler for people.
I know, like a one sheet, for just like a basic, like, here are the starters,
I guess I did take one class. So I have my residential investment certification. And I do have a lot of stuff from that. Like, and I've done presentations on investment. So, I mean, I could condense it all down. I mean, and I'm willing to go do presentations and it does get everybody fired up about it. But yeah, just packaging it down. I'm not like a huge process person. I'm more like a visionary where I can think of things. And then I would partner good with somebody who is a process person, like the steps to get there. Yeah, just putting it out together, just a couple sheets. That is like, here's the meat and potatoes. Here's what you need to know.
Yeah.
I could talk about this all day long and it could get overwhelming.
Totally. No, that's awesome. I think this has been so good, Amber. And like, it's got my wheels turning in terms of like, thinking about like how to get in the investing game. Cause I think that's really like smart for realtors to do, and kind of like lead by example, when we are working with clients to be like, yeah, I'm doing this as well. Like I'm in this too. But in closing, I'd love to hear just a sense of like, do you have like concrete goals for either your own kind of enterprise, like your own investment, work, or do you have goals around like your real estate business, things that you do for buyers or sellers?
Yeah, I mean, both. I have, goals that I want to hit. And kind of my thing is work smarter, not harder. Because like, as you guys know, and a lot of people don't understand, I did not understand how much work it is to be a real estate agent. And just to find people to help you with the little things so you can focus on the bigger things, the going out and prospecting clients. For the investment stuff, I always try to say I want to get 5 doors every year. So 5 doors like in 5 years and have 20 houses. We're doing the single family right now. I'm not opposed to doing multifamily, but the way I think about it is if something went wrong and we needed to sell off our properties, we could very easily sell those off because families will buy them. Multifamily, investors are buying them. What do investors want? Well, they want a good deal. And they, a lot of like multifamily will sit there for a while. But overall, like the Midwest here is a very good place to invest. Like a lot of people from out of state will invest here because we're not up and down like you guys are on the coast. We're pretty steady with the appreciation. And I mean, it's hard right now with the interest rates, but we still have a lot of out of state investors that come here just because the returns are so high. Did I answer the question?
Yes, you did. I'm ready. I'm just like the wheels are spinning. I'm ready to go purchase something. Yeah,
Glad to hear that.
My husband and I actually we live in a 3,000 square foot house, and when we bought it, we knew we did not need that much square footage. We didn't have kids yet, but we rent out our basement. And Kristin actually does the same. So there's a little bit of house hacking in both of us. She does short-term rental. We switched from short-term to long-term just because it's easier with the boys. And now I'm like, okay, this could become like rental, and then I go.
Yes, you could, because you probably got a good interest rate, right? I'm trying to always get my husband to move. I'm like, let's go get a house, like even downsize a little bit more, or a house that we see potential in. And again, just house hack it, but we will keep our house forever because we have a low interest rate. So why not keep it and, pull the equity out of it and then just rent it out?
Which my husband keeps saying, and maybe this is a good kind of turns into a last little question here, but like, he keeps saying, well, why would we want to go into more debt? I'm like, because you could make like $5,000 on this house a month for a little 13. I think our mortgage is $1,350 at 3.2% interest rate.
Wow, right.
Right? Yeah. But why not? I don't understand. So what do you say to people that are like my husband that are like, I'm not leaving that. I don't want to go into more debt.
He doesn't want to leave the rate. Well, say he's like, yeah, I don't want to leave the rate, but he also isn't interested in like borrowing from the equity either, because there's a lot of people just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to drop. But we all know it's supply and demand. When the rates drop, the houses go up in price. So you can't focus on that interest rate because you can always refinance. But again, it's hard for people to wrap their head around that. I mean, you have to make sure you can make the payments, right? But that could be the highest payment that you ever have, because when the rates drop, you can refinance it. I mean, I know insurance is going up and taxes are always going up. Insurance is getting ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how I go about it, or I explain it to people. And then I also say, like, I'm a real estate advisor, not an agent. And I believe in going to a financial advisor. I actually have a friend, we kind of pair up because it's the same type of thing. I'm teaching people how to invest in real estate to build generational wealth. And I do believe that real estate it's a better return than the stock market. But I also believe in diversifying your portfolio and also investing in the stock market or mutual funds or whatever else you'd like.
Mic drop. See, that's it. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You have to be diversifying and not just completely rental, because who knows if another 2008 thing happens and then you're SOL.
Right. And that's why I like the single families too, because I feel like that's we would be able to sell them, desirable neighborhoods. We have great tenants. We're so thankful for that. And we do have a condo in Florida. If anybody wants to buy a condo in Florida, we do have that for sale. Investing out of state is not for me right now. I like too much control. So,
well, in Florida and condos is just we've had a couple Floridians on our podcast. It's such a mess, and it's insurance led, like we said, across the country, but also it sounds like Kristin's doorway.
Yeah, I thought I heard that.
But also the fact that the insurance, but I think they're in Miami, that big apartment complex that fell down, or condominium that fell down, I think they're like trying to make sure that everybody's structure is sound.
Yes.
Is that right?
I haven't had any problems with insurance because mine is, well, it's by Disney. And we did get hurt. We did get hit. I mean, what are the chances to get hit by a hurricane in the central Florida this last year? We did. So, but we didn't have any damage. And my insurance it's pretty good. It has not gone up. So it's not outrageous, and I haven't had them drop me. So fingers crossed. But yes, I've heard all about it. And
that's good.
I'm just not ready to invest out of state it's kind of a control thing. And then we're doing Airbnb, short-term rentals. Like you said, I'm personally not a huge fan of them. I guess if you buy right, but they're getting stricter on the rules, and that's what we're doing right now. We're doing short-term rentals.
And I'm finding like the population is getting pickier too on what they're finding. Like I realized that like a hot tub was almost a necessity in our area because when they come visit in the winter, or just in general, it's just
because it's getting saturated, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Just totally the saturation.
Right.
Well, Amber, we so appreciate you. Thank you for all of your information and just sharing your knowledge. It was so lovely. Thank you for being on our podcast.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Cory Wall
and Kristin James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.